So, Redwall's getting a movie. If you don't know what Redwall is, it was a book series and a TV show. I did not read as a child, still don't really read now, but boy do I watch cartoons, and I definitely remember watching a good deal of Redwall. I at least made it through the entire first season, which is the first book, which is the book that is going to be used as the subject matter for this new movie that is going to be on Netflix. Now, normally, I don't cover news like this. I like to wait till things come out to talk about them until there's something really interesting. However, I think this counts as interesting because it's all kind of pointing towards this being something really incredible, at least with this first bit of information that we have. The first bit being the writer of the movie, Patrick McHale. Now, if you don't know who Patrick McHale is, he worked as a writer on Adventure Time and the Misadventures of Flapjack, but most importantly, he was the creator of Over the Garden Wall, one of my all-time favorite animated anythings, I guess. It's fantastic. I did a video of it on the channel a few months ago for Halloween. If you want to check that one out and find out why that show was so fantastic, you can at the end of this video. It'll be linked right there. Point is, Patrick McHale is very skilled. He is an incredible writer and has this incredible ability to present an interesting story with interesting characters in such a way that it is approachable for people of all ages and from all walks of life. It's very hard to do that without coming across as kind of pandery or talking down to the audience in some areas. You have to treat the audience like they know what's going on, but also give them the resources in order to know what's actually going on and not just expecting them to know things that you haven't presented. You have to go about this in a very smart way in order to have that right kind of balance, or else you're being pandering or you're talking down too much. And Patrick McHale is incredible at this. I would say Over the Garden Wall has one of the most balanced stories ever put out in adult animation, or just animation in general, because that's not even technically adult animation. That's what makes Patrick McHale so crazy. I want to say adult animation, but he makes shows that are good across the board for all ages, much like Batman the Animated Series, that old show. That show is fantastic, and you can watch that at 8, 12, 16, 20, 30, 40, whatever. If you like Batman and you're interested in it, you can watch it and you'll never get talked down to. It's never overly childish or overly adult where they're trying to be too edgy. It's perfectly balanced. Patrick McHale can pull that off. And the fact that he's writing this Redwall movie makes me very excited, because Redwall was kind of my first exposure to fantasy as a kid. It was either Redwall or the Chronicles of Narnia. Now, I did read some of the Chronicles of Narnia, but of course I saw the movies as well. I grew up in that kind of era, so that was fun, I guess. They're pretty good movies, but fantasy was kind of outside of my household a little bit. There was no Harry Potter, no Lord of the Rings for a long time, and I'm a big fan of fantasy now. I got Dungeons and Dragons shirt on. I play Dungeons and Dragons all the time. It's one of my favorite themes and settings. It's just fantastic. And I'm really glad to see that Redwall is coming back again, because it was such an early inspiration for probably a lot of people to get into fantasy to begin with. It's such a great introduction. And the first book focuses on Matthias and I believe Cruel? I forget. I haven't seen the show in a very long time. The fact that I can remember Matthias's name is a shock to even myself, but it also goes to show you that he's a memorable character, because I have not seen that show in quite possibly like 16 years, maybe 15 years. It has been an incredibly long time. And the most I remember about it was, you know, Knights of the Round Table-esque stuff, it being pretty goofy from time to time, British setting, I guess, fighting, knights, otters, bunnies, mice, rats, all that stuff was present. Probably made a few furries in the along the way. That's fine, I guess, to each his own. But it was fantastic the way I remembered it, and the fact that I can still remember parts of it continues to shock me. But Patrick McHale being on this project is incredibly exciting, because if he brings along his art style as well and how he goes about presenting his stories in animation, we're in for something really incredible. Something that is breathtakingly gorgeous, because I love Patrick McHale's art style, and perfectly presented. Now, that might be asking too much of a creator. It's like you have to be breathtakingly perfect. That's a very hard, pill to swallow for a lot of people, or just a task to take up. Not, of course, everyone's trying to do that, but it's way harder said than done. or way harder done. I don't know what I'm saying. The point is, it's difficult, and I'm rambling a bit because I'm getting to the point where I don't think Patrick McHale has ever messed it up. I think that Patrick McHale is so skilled at presenting this stuff and so meticulous that this is almost set up for nothing but success. The only way it could falter is maybe if the animation style was wonky, or if his writing style dips below what we've seen in the past. That's really the only way. Redwall as a subject matter, as its material, with that storyline from the first season of the show, from the first book, it's perfect. It's interesting, it has fun characters, it's a fun setting, it's unique, it inspired a lot of different things. I think it was the inspiration for the game Overgrowth that I just adore. I love that game so much. I actually played it on this channel an incredibly long time ago. I think like maybe 2 or 3 years ago at this point. I love that game. It's inspired a lot of great stuff because it's that good. It was a big part of a lot of people's childhoods, and now it's coming back. And now if you're hoping that this will be some adult retelling of the story, maybe it's possible, but I don't think it needs it. I think Patrick McHale is going to make it approachable to everyone. A classic PG, maybe even a little above to PG-13 kind of movie that a lot of people are going to be able to see and enjoy because of how he approaches his writing. I am incredibly excited for this Redwall movie. All signs are pointing to success, and a lot of that comes from just the fact that it's Redwall and it's being worked on by a writer who has done very little wrong in his career in terms of how he goes about making his stories. I am incredibly excited to see how this plays out. Maybe I'll follow it up on the channel if there's some other big piece of news like the art style. I'm very much looking forward to this one, but let me know down in the comments below what you think of this Redwall series, if you think it's going to be good or bad or just laughably terrible, whatever it may be. I read every comment on this channel, so don't be shy, yours will not be overlooked, but I will see you all next time. Goodbye.